Hey there and welcome. Today we're diving into a really cool way to learn languages called the direct method. It's all built on one simple but honestly revolutionary idea. To really learn a language, you can't just study it, you have to use it.
Okay, let me ask you something. Does this sound familiar? You spent years, maybe in a classroom. You know the grammar rules inside and out. But the second someone tries to have a real conversation with you, you just freeze up. It's a super common frustration. And trust me, there's a very specific reason it happens.
The source of all that frustration? Well, it often comes from that traditional, old-school way of teaching that a lot of us grew up with. You know, the one that treated language less like a living, breathing way to connect with people and more like, a science experiment to be picked apart.
And the main culprit has a name, the grammar translation method. This is all about analyzing grammar, memorizing huge lists of vocabulary, and translating really complex texts. Actually speaking, hearing the language, getting the rhythm of a conversation, that was usually an afterthought.
So let's put these two philosophies side by side, because the difference is huge. The grammar translation method kind of uses your native language as a crutch, right? You lean on it to analyze everything, and you get really good at knowing the rules. But the direct method, it just throws that crutch away. By using only the target language, it forces your brain to make new, direct connections. The whole focus shifts to communication, with the goal of actually turning you into a speaker. So because that old-school method had so many limitations, a new philosophy started to pop up, one that decided to take a much more, direct route to communication. At its heart, the direct method is basically immersion. There's one golden rule: no translation. That's it. The entire class is run in the target language. This completely shifts the focus from picking apart grammar to actually having active conversations. It's all about using words and phrases in a real context right from day one.
Now, to really get the philosophy behind this, all we have to do is think back. Think about how every single one of us learned our very first language. It's a pretty amazing and effective model when you stop to consider it.
The whole method is really just trying to copy that natural process. When you were a baby, your parents didn't sit you down with a grammar textbook, did they? No, they just talked to you. You were completely surrounded by the language, and you just picked it up, almost like magic. And this natural sequence is the absolute key. Step 1, you listen, constantly. Then, little by little, you start to speak. And through that cycle of listening and speaking, you just acquire the grammar and the vocabulary. It's intuitive. You don't memorize rules, the language just starts to feel right. Okay, so the theory sounds fantastic, right? But how does this actually work in a real classroom? Let's take a look at some of the practical, hands-on activities that really bring this method to life.
3 core techniques are really central here. First, there's using drama and physical actions to show what words mean. So a teacher might act out driving a car to teach the word drive. Then you've got total physical response, or TPR, where students just copy whatever the teacher does. If the teacher says hello and waves, the students say hello and wave back. And then there's TPR storytelling, which combines all of this, getting students to act out whole stories to connect language to a narrative.
A classic activity here is drilling commands. It's pretty much just like a game of Simon Says. The teacher calls out simple things in the target language, like stand up, and the students just do the action. It's a super simple, physical way to connect a word directly to its meaning. No translation needed.
Here's another fun one. Correct the teacher. For this, the instructor says one word but then deliberately does the wrong action. Like they'll say eyes, but point to their nose. It's up to the students to catch the mistake and perform the correct action. It's a really playful way to make sure the vocabulary sticks. Or how about something like the dice game? A student rolls a die, and whatever number comes up, that's how many commands they have to follow in a sequence. So if they roll a 3, the teacher might say, touch your nose, stand up, and raise your hand. And the student has to remember and act out the whole thing. So all these things, the immersion, the actions, the games, they're all building up to one ultimate goal. This is really the final, most important step to becoming truly fluent. And this right here is the whole point. The end game is to get rid of that mental step of translating back and forth from your native language. You know that little pause, that hesitation? That's what slows conversations down and makes speaking feel so unnatural. You see, true fluency happens when you can skip that translation step entirely. Instead of thinking the English words, I want a hamburger, and then mentally translating that into, say, Spanish, your brain just goes directly to quiero una hamburguesa.
The thought and the foreign words become one and the same, and that is the magic of the direct method.
By creating that direct link between thought and speech, this whole method is aiming for real intuitive fluency. So that leaves us with one last question for you. Whether you're a teacher or you're a learner, what direct approach activities do you use or could you start using on your own language journey? Thanks for watching.